Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three with the Studio C band. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Appreciate you all being here, audience. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. Yeah, I love our studio audience. This is the only television show that looks at how the crazy current events shaping our world are actually shaping you, body, mind, and spirit. My monologue today is going to be a bit longer. I'm trading my solo time with the viewer in at the end to do it now because I have a fascinating journey to take you on. Now, in case you haven't figured this out yet, this is a talk show. Everybody good on that? Yeah. It's a talk show. Okay, I love to talk. Well, the very first talk show was in 1920 in Detroit. So talk shows will be 100 years old in the year 2020. So from the 20s to the mid-50s, talk shows made up 24% of all radio programming, with general variety talk, audience participation, human interest, panel shows, all of that comprising as much as 40 to 60% of the daytime schedule. In all, from the mid-40s to the mid-90s, over 200 talk shows appeared on the air. Now, these shows can be broken down into 4 cycles of TV talk show history. This is fascinating to me. So here's cycle 1. In the late 40s through early, let's say 1960s, Edward R. Murrow, Jack Paar, Arthur Godfrey, basically it was talk radio but with a TV camera right in front of them, okay? My own stepfather was a DJ for Billy Graham in the early days of his ministry, and then he went to work for Pat Robertson when CBN was just radio. Then he transitioned with them when they began broadcasting to television. So those were all talk radio kings, right? So they just made the transition smoothly over into the technology of TV. And we can learn from those transitions. Ed Murrow continued his radio show after pioneering talk TV, just like many today are trying to continue TV today while pioneering web talk shows. Cycle 2, early 60s through the early 70s. Now, you still have some sit-down talk shows like Mike Wallace and Barbara Walters, but The Tonight Show emerges on the scene during this period. First with Steve Allen, then Jack Paar, and then, of course, landing on Johnny Carson for 30 years with a live studio audience. Mike Douglas show, okay, a live studio audience. It changed everything in talk TV. Cycle 3, the 70s and the 80s. Now here it gets really interesting. With the transition from radio to TV, now old news, there is a new transition for the networks, a new competitor, and that was cable TV. The networks didn't add many new talk shows. There was a cable boom. Well, new technologies of production, which means cheaper television studios and production costs, new methods of distribution like satellite transmissions and cable, and even key regulatory decisions by the FCC made nationally syndicated talk increasingly profitable and attractive to investors. Cycle 4, early 80s to early 90s. By now, we're in the post-network era. I grew up in a 3-network world. Many of you did too. Well, the networks were fighting back, and with the explosion of Saturday Night Live a few years before, humor was now a must. And it showed up in the form of opening monologues in TV talk shows. Carson did it, Letterman, Leno, not only humor, but satire, even a bit of irreverence, I might say. And you see it on TV today. And Fallon, Kimmel, and many others, they pushed the envelope and they set the tone for that night's show, right? Well, another component of the most successful TV talk shows were a live band for the musical element. Well, of course, give it up for our Studio C band, everybody, yeah. But isn't that interesting? I just think it's so interesting because, music became so popular on radio. And now here it is popular on TV. It seems like TV can't survive. TV talk show can't survive without music. It just feels like we're back full circle. So of these 4 stages, did you notice, though, what the one thing was that all the most successful TV talk shows had in common? It was a live studio audience. So give yourselves a hand. Yeah, the Three studio audience. And for the prime timers, that's not Geraldo or Oprah and Donahue, but like Carson, Letterman, Leno, and Fallon, they had a live band too. So now you know that the Three has every one of the elements that makes a talk show successful, including a talk show host who likes to talk. So that's very important. So even though we've gone from radio to TV to cable to the web, we still have successful radio talk shows today, 100 years later. Well, long live the Three. I have two guests today who make their living in the TV business, and specifically in the Christian TV business. Now, my first guest has created a video that is better than any introduction I could give him. So please, everyone, meet Stephen Cunningham. Here's his story.
Hey, I love cars. Being raised in Southern California, I used to always joke that when I was born, I had a gas pedal under my foot. I love working on them, restoring them. Matter of fact, a few days ago, I thought, that's exactly what God did to my life. He restored it. I mean, he did a step farther even. He made me brand new. He didn't take just a swipe with McGuire's wax. He created a new creature, and I love him for it. My wife and I were living in California, and we got involved in drugs for about 11 years, marijuana, cocaine, uppers, downers, and basically anything that mess up your life. Halfway through those 11 years, we moved back to Colorado, where I learned how to silversmith. And I took the jewelry out on the road, my wife stayed home. And I was in a motel room one night, and I had the TV on. Billy Graham came on, and I'm not exactly sure what he said, but whatever it was really touched my heart. And I found myself on that dirty motel carpet on my knees saying, God, I don't know if you exist. I don't know if you can change my life, but if you can, here it is. I'm giving it to you. So when I came home, I told my wife I had something to tell her, and she said, well, she's got something to tell me. And she received Christ the same week that I did, 2 different locations. We've been going ever since. This was 1976. Recently, though, within the past 5 years, I've learned so much more about God's grace, God's amazing grace. Matter of fact, it's radical grace. I realized that my Father loved me, that my Father wasn't mad at me. My sole purpose here at CTN is to make sure as many people as possible learns this message, that they have a loving Father. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. By the way, my name is Steve.
What a video. I really enjoyed that. And so just for an official introduction, this is Stephen Cunningham. He is the National Director of Sales and Programming for the Christian Television Network. Welcome to the Three, Steve.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
glad that you're here.
Glad to be here.
So I just have to say that, and I've told you this before, it was on your birthday this last year, and I told you that I had a top 10 list in my life of influencers, that people that had really, I'd walked into their door and they changed everything for me. And I'm so old now, the list broadened to 15 people. So, you know, as you get older, you have more influencers, and you made my list this last year.
God.
Because when I came into your office that day, I was there to do another program, the Herman and Sharon show in Tampa in headquarters. And Chris looks at me and he said, I don't think we're here just to do this show. I think we need to ask if they have a programming director. And wow, not only met you, but met a great friend. So I love your story. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I love your story. You got saved watching Christian television.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great need for discipleship too, though, is what I noticed. Because we, as the story goes, we both got saved at the same time. Then we remained in drugs for a couple years because we never got grounded, never went to church, never had somebody take their put their arm around us and kind of lead us in the way. So the importance is really strong about disciple, the new believer. And I look back on it now and I see God looking down, because I was smoking a joint and driving a van down Kansas Road, taking my jewelry to sale. And I can see God going, come on, you'll make it. Come on. You know, because for years I've been taught God's up there going, oh, no, you ain't going to make it. I'm going to smack you.
Right.
But it's not that way. God, his love is unbelievable. And that's basically what I feel my main reason and my main passion is, to let people know that Daddy God loves them.
It shows.
It's really cool.
It shows, even in a business meeting or a phone call. So you're doing a really good job at communicating
Wonderful.
that. Well, so that my story is really similar. I actually got saved watching Jimmy Swaggart. Remember him?
Yeah.
I was watching Jimmy Swaggart on TV one day, and I was 10 years old, and it made me start to cry. His music, remember, he used to play the piano? And I sat down and got out some notebook paper from my school folder and wrote him a letter. And he wrote me back. And he said, that's not me making you cry, that's the Holy Spirit. He wants to come in and dwell inside of you. And so Christian media it's powerful. And my husband, Chris, he got saved listening to a Christian radio show. So the reason I did the opening monologue I did, and the question I want to pose to you is, television is in a transition. There's the web, you know, cable, all of that, the history that I shared. Where do you see Christian television? Is it making the transition okay? We have so many people they have television programming on right now, but they're not incorporating the web. How is that transition going, and are we doing a good job?
Well, I'd like to see the ship turn a little bit quicker. I mean, that's just me personally. Because for years we've had the Christian movies, and I'm not going to say anything about it, but they were less than...
A little cheesy.
Perfect, you know.
Yeah.
It has changed somewhat. It's still... My wife and I were directing drama department at a church for 15 years or so. And we've finally gotten people past the understanding of that's good enough for church, you know.
Right.
And for years it's always been like that.
Right.
Oh, that's good enough for church. No, we should be in excellence.
It should be better.
A lot of the movies and so forth are changing. It's getting better and better. But I can see we should be the best, period. I mean, the God we serve has enough funds and so forth.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that I did not start this show until so late in my life, after being in television for 50 years, is I felt like God deserved the best.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to do anything that was subpar. So when we come back, I want to bring Monica Schmelter out here. She is a local CTN affiliate. And so there is great conversation that's going to happen between the three of us, and she's a brilliant mind. So don't go anywhere, everybody. Stay right there. We'll be right back on The Three. Hi, I'm Laura Harris-Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. You know, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world, and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety Gift Box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain Sleep Eye Mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with one Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, one dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, one Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, one Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. You're watching The Three. I'm going to tell you a little bit about CTN. The Christian Television Network actually blankets 75% of the Earth thanks to the Thaicom 5 satellite. And of course, 100% of the Earth through the web. But nationally, in the United States, we have 20 affiliates, 20 different stations. And the person that you're about to meet is the general manager of one of those. So I want you to give her a warm welcome. She is not only the general manager, but she is the host of Bridges, one of the top-rated television shows there, and I've gone all over the country, and anytime I bring up her name, people know who she is. She is a dear friend, she's a great revelatory teacher, and I hope you'll welcome her with me to The Three, Monica Schmelter. I'm so glad that you're both here. You are both so precious to me, and I've known you for so many years, and you've done such a good work here, just even in the Middle Tennessee area. But I want to just, for a second, before we move on to the larger issue, tell us how you came to WHTN, because I don't even know the story.
Oh my goodness, well that's quite a story. My husband and I actually are, I'm from the city of Detroit, Michigan, when you said the first talk show there. And we felt a call from the Lord to move to this area.
Wow.
And it started for my husband to pastor a church in Lebanon. And I had always worked in Christian TV in Detroit, but I thought that season of my life was just over, and that was totally okay with me.
Really?
You know, because I was a stay-at-home mom and I was happy and enjoying that, and my husband looked at me one day and said, "You are just far too talented not to be involved in Christian TV." He said, "I'm taking you to WHTN and you're going to volunteer." And I said, "No, I don't want to do that." And he said, "Yes, you are." And that's how it started.
And now you're the general manager and the host of its anchor show. Okay, so thank goodness for Christian husbands who hear the Lord,
Yes,
right?
amen.
Okay. Well, that's a fascinating story. So then how long ago was that? I can't remember, wasn't it?
Oh, gosh, I think that was like in 1996. I've been there for
was it over 20,
over 20 years.
It was over 20 years. Well, let's just talk for a moment. Steve and I had touched on it going into the break, but there is an evolution happening, and many people are trying to just keep up, as if Christian television wasn't, and Christian films weren't already trying to keep up with quality of other broadcasters and other filmmakers. Now there is the transition that's been going on for several years of everything is on the web, right? Your channel is your online channel. And yet there is a huge demographic of people that are still going to turn on the television. Just like I heard a conversation at lunch today. Someone was talking about reading a book and they said, "Oh, no, I don't want it on a device. I have to touch the book, turn the cover and the pages." There's that visceral experience for the TV viewer. They want to have that box in front of their sofa in their living room and watch it and enjoy it. And so I just don't think there's any danger of TV going anywhere just yet. Therefore, I think the challenge is quality. Do you all see a shift in the quality of programming and production? Are you seeing that in Christian television?
Well, I definitely think so. And I think that, you know, Christian TV in the future is in the hands and the hearts of followers of Christ. That when we make that decision, and I see that happening, that we want what we're doing for the Lord to look and sound as good as it possibly can. And it's a lot what you're doing here with the three, Laura. You're bringing it all together. And you're to be commended for that. And I know that there are many more like you who understand what a lot of fun it is, but it's hard work, it's commitment, it's all of that. And so there's nothing easy about it. I've had people say to me, well, what do you do after you do the Bridges show? What do you do for the rest of the day?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me tell you. But I see the times changing, and I see Christians stepping up and saying, it's not just about the technology and the different platforms, but it's about us being creative, about us believing God, and for Christian businesses and Christians to say, I want to put my finances, I want to invest in the souls of people.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. Tell me, Steve, I know that you down there at headquarters in Tampa, like you have kind of the aerial view. What percentage of your programming would you say is geared towards millennials?
Ouch. Not enough. I mean, that's one thing that I've been trying to push. The balancing act that you get is you've got the older people that do the funding.
And they're the anchors,
and the
right?
millennials haven't gotten into that as of yet. The thing that I like that's changed so much, I think the manipulation type pulling funding from individuals is slowing up.
I do too.
Just rely on God to speak to that
yes.
business owner and so forth. Because this is, be very honest, what sold me. When you brought it in and gave me a preview of it and so forth. Yourself, the appearance, it's what we've been praying for.
Well, thank the Lord. Me too. Me too.
But
definitely.
Where are you? You must help financially because it doesn't come free.
Right.
I mean, this studio lets you come in here free, right? And no?
Pinch
No?
me? No.
Oh.
No.
And those cameras.
They're all here for free. You guys are all free, right?
Oh wait, they're running off.
But yeah, I ask you about that because it's true. And this generation, millennials. Well, I thought I was the world's oldest millennial, but I think you are actually. Are used to getting their media free, correct, guys? Like you're going to just go online and get it. So why would you ever have to pay for it? So you're right. That is a very good stopping point. Is that we need to make sure that without manipulation, that we make the message very clear that we cannot do this without you. I say all of the time how, you know, God had a son, but he wanted a family. So he sent Jesus to come and get us. Well, likewise, we've all had careers in television, right? What we want is a TV family. Amen. We want people to come alongside of us and do family with us and help get our programming out to that, as I said, 75% of the world in television and 100% through the web. So stay put. We have a small segment coming up afterwards, and we'll round things up. Got one more question for you both, surprise question. So don't go anywhere. Stay close, everybody. Be right back. Hi, Laura Harris-Smith here, and you know by now that it's a passion of mine to see people get healthy body, mind, and spirit. As a nutritionist and as someone who almost lost her life due to a lack of proper sleep, I'm convinced that sleep is the most important but the least emphasized puzzle piece for total body health. I created my Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend to offer support to sufferers of migraine, tremor, PTSD, anxiety, seizures, and more. But one of the most frequent testimonies we get from all over the world is that it helps with insomnia. People are sleeping better with Quiet Brain. But my other passion is helping people hear God's voice, not just during the day while awake, but also at night while they sleep and dream. And that's why I wrote Seeing the Voice of God, what God is telling you through dreams and visions. And now my two worlds, that is author and inventor, really come together on this topic of sleep and dreams through my Sweet Dreams package. You get one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain, which is comprised of lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more, and a copy of Seeing the Voice of God, complete with a 1,000 symbol dream dictionary for interpreting your dreams, and instructions on which vitamins and minerals to help you better remember your dreams. Sleep is the mattress of dreams, so grab this offer while it's still available. One copy of Seeing the Voice of God and one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain for easy application. And, while supplies last, a free Quiet Brain satin sleep eye mask. So take back your sleep with Quiet Brain and take back your dreams with Seeing the Voice of God. Order today at quietbrainoil.com. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. You're watching The Three, and I am here with Stephen Cunningham. He is the National Director of Sales and Programming for the Christian Television Network, and Monica Schmelter. She is the General Manager of the CTN affiliate in Middle Tennessee, WHTN, and host of Bridges. So we've been discussing the history of television and Christian television and the future. And I just wanted to ask you, in the couple of minutes that we have left here, where do you think we're all going to be in 10 years? As my grandmother says, should Jesus tarry? Where do you see this all going? Because we're going to have a generation of individuals who've all gotten their media for free, and yet people get sticker shock when I tell them how much all of this costs. So how do you see that shaking out in about 10 years, Mr. Sales Director?
Okay, in 10 years, let's see, I'll be 83.
Oh, that's right. You are the world's oldest millennial.
Well, honey, I have a TV. No. The thing I think about is maybe it's not going to be free what they're getting now down the road. Maybe the internet's, you know, who knows who's going to enter into the internet to charge for that. And
wow.
Thinking may change totally. Because there's so much things that are going to change. We don't even have an idea are coming as far as formats and platforms and so forth.
It's always evolving. It'll be a totally different something pushing, you know, the web out of the way one of these days somehow. Okay, Monica, what do you think?
So one of the things that I think that we'll see in the next 10 years is that all of these millennials, there are going to be so many of them that have caught on fire with the love of Christ.
Come on.
Okay, and they have all of these devices and all of this technology, and they see the value of how it shapes our hearts and how it can change people's lives. I see millennials as the ones to really bring this thing in, who are going to be business owners and leaders, and they are going to say, I'm going to invest in you, Laura Harris-Smith, because you are doing the work of God. And I think in 10 years we're going to look better. And brighter, and the message and the love of Jesus Christ is going to go farther and wider because this world needs it, and God is going to make sure that His word goes
That is
forth.
a good word.
Somehow, some way.
And your family came to Christ because you heard on Christian television that you can pray your family into the kingdom. So every one of us sitting here had our lives changed because of Christian programming. So we've got to keep going. We just absolutely have to. And the Lord will provide, and the Lord will do that, and I agree with you. There's a generation coming that is going to demand excellence, which I'm all about. So wonderful. Great show today, guys. I would love to have you back sometime because I have, a lot of secret questions I'd like to ask you as well. But wonderful wrap up. So thank you again for being here. And to you, the person we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes, thank you for being a viewer. And yes, you can always go to www.thethree.tv. You can donate there. You can pray for us. We want a TV family. Thanks, family. We'll talk to you next time on The Three.